What show? Survivor.
It's called Survivor.
Yeah. I will survive.
It was not Survivor. There's somebody here who's like, I don't know where this guy's from. So I was on this show called American Idol back in 2008.
Yes!
It, at the time, represented the culmination of 10 years of playing in bands and traveling the Midwest and playing to nobody. In fact, I'm pretty sure if you took every person that ever went to one of my shows before Idol, they'd fit in this room and not even fill half of it. So. It's not an all thing, it's just a fact thing. And so all of a sudden, I'm on this TV show and people know who I am and people are voting for me and rooting for me and all this.
Yeah!
It would have been nice of you to buy my records before, but that's fine. That's neither here nor there. I moved on. I know you didn't know me.
Yeah, you were under the
That's
radar.
kind of the point of what I'm saying.
Yeah, under the radar.
And we couldn't buy your album.
Uh-huh.
So while all this is going on, this kind of crazy life high, I had a little bit of perspective with, I had an older brother named Adam who was going through a brain tumor at the time. And while I would gladly trade that perspective to have him here, as I've gotten a little older, I'm thankful for that perspective because so much of that is very ancillary and absurd and weird. So you get done with the show and it's immediately kind of out of the frying pan into the fire, to use an overused analogy or cliche or whatever the hell.
Make up your mind.
I'm trying. She told me to make up my mind. And all of a sudden, it's time to go on the Idol tour. And while that's going on, I'm trying to make a record. And I remember that summer being very fun, but very busy. And all of a sudden, you get done with the Idol tour, and it's time to finish the record, and then put out the single, and then put out the record, and then all of a sudden, it's 2009. It's time to go on the road and support your own stuff. They booked me for a year. Yeah, it was a fun year. And so all of a sudden, I'm doing this thing that I had set out to do when I first started a band, and that was to tour the world and make a living playing music. And I was ecstatic. And then right smack dab in the middle of that tour, at the beginning of May, my brother passed away. And at that moment, I did exactly what I should not have done. I say that, I put the emphasis on that because I acknowledge that not everybody's process is the same. What I should have done in hindsight was stop. I should have taken some time away and grieved and processed and come back healthy and happy and ready to go. And instead what I did is I stayed out on the road. We rescheduled one show for his funeral, and other than that, it was just kind of business as usual. And I think I thought I was dealing with it, and then come off the road at the end of '09, and it's time to write another record. And my brain decided that was when we were going to deal with it. So all of a sudden, I'm angry at everybody and everything, and I'm not really 100% sure why, and I'm lashing out at people, and I'm going into these writing sessions, just not in the right headspace to try to write even good music, let alone great music. And I was just lost, I think. And so as we go through that process of writing the record, we're 7, 8, 9 months into writing a record, and we don't have a record. We've got a few songs here or there, but we've got 86, 87 songs to choose from, and we can't figure out 10. Because they're terrible. So towards the end of that process, I kind of throw a Hail Mary, and I get in a room with two really good friends of mine. Guys who were my bandmates at the time, guys I'd known before Idol. Guys named Andy Skibb and Neil Tiemann. And we sit down, we start writing, and Andy starts playing this kind of piano progression, and I don't know if it was the vibe of the music he was playing, or if it just, whatever, the right moment for whatever reason, but I think I just in that moment decided, like, okay, I'm gonna put this down on paper, just try to purge it a little bit. Because I think wasn't where I wanted to be emotionally, mentally. So we start writing, and within about 30, 45 minutes, we have this song that just felt important to me. And in that moment, I think it represented kind of crossing some sort of threshold and finding some semblance of peace with what the hell had happened in the last year and change. And as I've gotten further away from it, I turned 36 next month. I was 26 or 27 at that time. As I've gotten further away from it, I come to realize what made that situation what it was not some serendipitous thing where just all these things align. It was because I was in a room with friends. I was in a room with no pretense, no Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately what Neil and Andy were for me that day, I don't even think they realized they were being. All they were doing was giving of themselves. They were giving love and allowing me to be vulnerable. And as I get further away from it, the lesson I find myself taking from it is kind of what I want to pass on to you guys tonight, if you guys will allow me. On the other side of the walls here, the real world, there's a lot of us versus them. There's a lot of red team versus blue team. And if we all just attempted to give just a little bit more love,
Yeah.
a handshake, a hug, a kind word, you have absolutely no idea what you mean to somebody else. And so
Amen to that.
as you leave here tonight and go back to life and you go see your families and you celebrate Thanksgiving, it's going to be really easy to fall back on old habits. And I just ask that, give love. See what happens.
Thank you, David.
Because ultimately that unconscious choice that two friends of mine made in 2010 is what allowed me to be a part of writing a song that saved my life.
We love you.
Love you too. This is Goodbye to the Grieve.